are in one. These are separate categories, 7 categories. And I will mention those 7 categories right now, inshallah Rabbil Alameen. So the first one, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Imamun Adil, a just ruler. And then the second one, he Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Shabun nasha'a fi ta'atillah, a youth who was raised obeying and worshipping Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And the third one is, وَرَجُلٌ قَلْبُهُ مُعَلَّقٌ فِي الْمَسَاجِدِ, a man, his heart is attached and connected to the masajid. And the fourth one was, وَرَجُلٌ دَعَتْهُ امْرَأَةٌ ذَاتُ جَمَالٍ وَمَنْصِبٍ فَقَالَ إِنِّي أَخَافُ اللَّهِ, and a man whom a woman with beauty and position called him to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do the haram, and he said, I fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. الخامسة ورجل تصدق بصدقة فأخفاها حتى لا تعلم شماله ما أنفقت يمينه, and a man who gave a charity and he hid it in such a way that not even his left hand would know what his right hand has spent, meaning he made sure that it's absolutely secret, no one knew about it. Okay? And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also mentioned, وَرَجُلَانِ تَحَابَّا فِي اللَّهِ اجْتَمَعَا عَلَيْهِ وَتَفَرَّقَا عَلَيْهِ, and 2 men, they met one another, loving each other for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and when they departed, whether they departed due to some other circumstances, they went to different countries, different cities, or one of them passed away, or whatever it is, then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said they departed even loving one another for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How many are these? 6 or 7? What did we just say right now? Imamun Adil, Shab, Rajul, رجل تصدق بيمينه ورجلان تحابا في الله اجتمعا عليه تفرقا عليه اجتمعا عليه وتفرقا عليه. طيب وين السابعة؟ بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
ورجل ذكر الله خاليا
ففاضت عيناه, and a man who remembered Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in seclusion, then his eyes shed tears. So going back to the first point that I mentioned over here, the mistake was as if like 3 of them have been lumped into one. So he grew up obeying Allah, then as a result his heart got connected to the masjid. As a result, a woman called him, so that no, these are separate categories, and it was not meant that we say we lump them together. These are 7 different categories. One person might get, subhanallah, all of them, right? A person might get all of them, subhanallah. He might be a just ruler, he grew up worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then his heart is attached, and so on and so forth. Like Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he said, there will be gates in Jannah for every good deed. So the one who is fasting, he will be called to enter the Jannah from the door or the gate of fasting. And the one who is spending, he will be called from the gate of spending, and so on and so forth, until Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
حدثنا آدم بن أبي إياس قال حدثنا شعبة عن عبد الله بن أبي السفر وإسماعيل عن الشعبي عن عبد الله بن عمرو رضي الله عنهما عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال المسلم من سلم المسلمون من لسانه ويده والمهاجر من هجر ما نهى الله عنه. قال أبو عبد الله وقال أبو معاوية حدثنا داود عن عامر قال سمعت عبد الله عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وقال عبد الأعلى عن داود عن عامر عن عبد الله عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم said, the Muslim is the one whom the Muslims are secured from his tongue and his hand. And the muhajir, the migrant or the immigrant, is the one who abandons what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us to not do. He abandons what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us not to do. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this hadith, he said, Al-Muslim man salima al-Muslimun. The Muslim is the one who the Muslims are free from his hand and his tongue. From his tongue and from his hand. He said, min lisanihi wa yadihi. طيب. Few things over here, inshallah we'll conclude with it. The first one is, does it mean Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was talking only that you cannot hurt the Muslims, but it's okay for you to go and hurt the non-Muslims? La. It doesn't mean that. Al-Hafidh ibn Hajar alayhi rahmatullah, he said, ala al-taghlib, because the interaction that you will have will be mostly with the Muslims. So you should not. You're not allowed to harm the Muslims, and at the same time you're not allowed to harm the non-Muslims just because. Right? If someone hurts you, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you the ability and He gave you the permission to get back at them in that amount
of the harm that they have given. يعني مش one of you goes like this on your leg and you go take a baseball bat and hit him with the leg and you break his leg. No, it has to be proportionate. If you are going to get back at them, if you want to get back at them. But if you pardon, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves those who pardon. And then he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, مِن لِسَانِهِ وَيَدِهِ. So he specified from the tongue first and then from the hand. Does that mean only the tongue or the hand? La. It means everything. But why did Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam say, مِن لِسَانِهِ وَيَدِهِ?
That's more common.
Aywa. Majority of the harm that people cause to each other is what? The tongue. And then the hand. Majority of it. The tongue can hurt and harm those who died, those who are alive, those who will come in the future. Right? The hand cannot do that. It will do it only for the ones who are present with you. But the tongue will go to the past, present and future. That's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man salim al-muslimuna min lisanihi wa yadihi." And wal-muhajiru man hajara ma naha Allahu anhu. So the one who is really an immigrant is the one who abandons and stays away from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us not to. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu.